All right, so now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about for loops. So this is just your traditional for loop, and before we get too far into it, I want to explain this part of the for loop because there might be some things that aren't as familiar to you. So it's broken into three different sections. This first section here is the starting bucket that we're going to start at in the array. So for Coldfusion, since it's a one-based array or a one indexed array, we're going to start with index one, which is the first bucket. Other languages can be zero-based arrays where the first one's a zero, so you'd have to start with a zero. But for Coldfusion, we're going to start with a one. And then this next one is the condition that's going to allow this loop to continue while this statement's true. So while one or I is less than the length of the array, keep going through this loop. And then once this statement's false, it'll break out of the loop. And then this third statement is the scale or how quickly we're going to update I. So this increment operator here is just going to say, hey, add one to I every time you go through the loop. Now, a lot of times you'll see I. I is just short for index. You can put whatever value you want here as the variable, but you'll probably see I a lot. So that's just kind of how the for loop works. The variable that we're going to start at, the condition that's going to allow the index or the loop to keep going until this statement is satisfied, and then how quickly we're going to kind of step up that index value. So for this example, we have a list of villains. We're gonna kind of go through each villain. We're gonna check if it's Voldemort. We're gonna pass it a special message out showing what position Voldemort's in. And if it's not Voldemort, we'll just kind of skip it and just output the name as it is. So let's go ahead and check and see what this looks like. So you look here, it's doing all the different villains and it's showing them. Now to show you kind of this index, let's say instead of incrementing by one, let's go ahead and say we're going to go plus equal 2. So it's going to go every other. So let's see what's going to happen with um, our array of villains. So as you notice, it's going to skip every other one. So now Voldemort's missing, Thanos is missing, and Kronos is missing. And you can go backwards on the array, you can go forwards, it doesn't matter which way. You just have to make sure that your starting value, um, and you just have to make sure that each of these three pieces is going to line up so that you don't end up in an infinite loop where this condition never turns to false. So anyways, hope that helps explain a little bit about just a traditional for loop. And until next time.